So I wanted you to give an example, and I told you I'm going to ask you this, is an example of
Mm.
a negotiation that you had between a buyer and seller that was really really weird. Like I've heard of negotiations where the buyer, like the seller, sorry, the buyer wanted like a particular, like they wanted the flowers in that or something like that, something really weird, and then you had to pull something out of the box to close the deal.
You know, most of it, I typically, when I'm representing a buyer, I typically set them up for the expectations
Okay.
of this is what you're buying, and anything else you need to do for yourself. I mean, I've had buyers, it's like, well, we want the stools at the bar because they're perfect. And it's like, you know what? Let's ask for it. If we don't get it, we can find out where they got it. Buy your own stool. So I think it also goes to how do you work with those clients and set the
Okay.
expectations of the clients. And if you can manage that, then you
No,
don't
but I
run
mean,
into those issues.
I mean, you are pretty accomplished, but when you were starting off, those are. I mean, I think right now it's a little bit different.
When I was starting off, buyers felt they were just lucky to get the home because the stuff was going off
Oh,
the market so fast.
all right.
And sellers giving anything because they didn't have
That
to.
makes sense.
I mean, when I started, I was in development sales in 1991, 1999 started, and then I went to Coldwell Banker to go be in resale sales, and 20 minutes after I was there, I got a development in my lap, and then for 4 or 5 years worked on those developments, and then was still doing resale business. And it wasn't until probably 2 or 3 years ago that the sellers, it started to change, and it wasn't probably till the last year or so that the sellers realized if they have a
Okay.
buyer, they're lucky. Where
The
before
other
the
way around,
buyers
yeah.
felt,
All right, fair enough.
they were, because there would be three offers, there would be, they missed out on another place in the complex or the building, and something else went on, and they just grabbed it for whatever they had to pay for it. And the other issue is you don't care if you're rolling, most of it into a mortgage and you're amortizing it over 30 years, you don't
Yeah.
care what you're paying. It's now that people have
Yep,
to
they're
pay
taking a mortgage. Yep.
cash um, or come to the table with 20 or 30 or 40% down to close the deal. They care,
Yep.
because it
Yep.
is cash out of their pocket. But if you're financing, 100%, which most of these deals were, nobody, it
It,
doesn't matter what
it's
you pay because it's like